trying to get on. I did send Chris a text message, and I called and left a voice message. Selva's here, Rick and Judy are here. Let's see what's going on today. There is Gay Pride Parade on Miami Beach, and several of our people will be at that, I know. And I've asked them to take pictures. We'll see what's going on. Pat Sullivan, how is New York today? Is Pat there? Okay, Pat Sullivan, how's New York? There's Pam. Pam, how's New York today?
A little rainy. Looks like it's going to rain, but you know, it's okay. It was nice a couple of days ago.
Oh, all right. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you all.
Okay. Wait a couple more minutes here.
Sorry, I was in the kitchen.
Are you making dinner for all of us? Or are you making dessert?
I'm just making soup for myself because it's cold and yucky here, and I just wanted soup to warm myself up.
Well, actually, Grimmy is taking us to Aruba.
Oh, well, that'd be fun. Thank you, Brittany. I've been to Aruba. It's lovely.
You've been to Aruba, really?
Yeah, in 2000, I went to Aruba. It was wonderful. I swam in the ocean every day. I went snorkeling. I got to attend circus school.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. I didn't do very well. I tried the flying trapeze. I didn't actually get to connect, but it was still a fun try.
So how long were you in there? Were you down there for 10 days?
Oh, just a week or 5 days to a week. I can't remember.
But it was nice. You had a good time.
I had a very nice time. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go around. You can see Digit is here. Let's see. Larry and Cindy are here. Maureen's here. Chris is trying to get in. Rick and Judy. Rick and Judy, by the way, went up to visit all the way up to Jupiter Beach and came back so they could be here this morning. Round trip. Big going to go. Selva's here with us this morning. Pat Sullivan. Her sister Maureen is here. And Pam Gray is here. All right. We'll wait just a couple more minutes and then we'll go on with some announcements and see what's going on today. As I said, there's a big gay pride parade today, and a lot of our people are going to be at that to offer support, either support or to share. They are, and they're going to make sure that people know that they are real humans and real people and deserve certain rights too. Okay, Anaki made it in. Anaki, can you read? Are you able to read? Where'd you go? Anaki, are you able to read at all? Where did you go?
I'm right here. Yes, I can help.
Okay, good. I'll let you know when you're up. All right. By the way, in case you forgot, Mr. Teach is the giant bird in the back there. If you see him come flying in, yes, that's Mr. Teach.
Mr. Teach is going to have to go to his cage. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Chris Diaz, you made it in. Chris. Where'd he go? Chris?
Yes,
Bobby
I
Vance?
did.
You did. We were trying to get hold of you. I sent you a text and left you a voicemail.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to see you, Chris. And Bobby Vance is here. Okay, let's go around and say hello to everybody. Digit is out in the mighty metropolis of Oldsmar. Oldsmar, in case you did not know this, is 1 square foot on the north shore of Tampa Bay. What is it, 2 square miles?
Yeah, something like that. Just like, I think like 4.
All right, 4 square miles. All right. Larry and Cindy are up in Port Orange. Rick and Judy are here in Miami. Bobby Vance is in Kissimmee. Felix, I thought you were at the parade.
I thought so too, Doc, but no, I'm coming down with something, so I'm gonna take.
Okay, so you're staying safe. All right. Anaki is here. Anaki just got out of the hospital. He's had a battle of things too. Pam Gray is from up in Forest Hills, where it's rainy and drizzly. Maureen Sullivan is out near farm country. Pat Sullivan is in Forest Hills. Selva is down at the end of Kendall Drive, almost near US 1. Chris Diaz is out in North Miami, and Chris and John Sloan are up in Port Orange as well. So let me begin with a few announcements, if I can. We have a bunch of them, so be patient. Digit did surpass a big IT security exam. How he passed this, I have no idea, because he's been sick as a dog. Felix has gotten sick. Anaki was in the hospital. It's been a bad time for getting sick. And how he passed this, I have no idea, but he did. Want to remind everybody that your minister, your lead minister, in a grand act of fill in the blank, completely forgot when he scheduled a wedding on Thursday night, it was connections. Yes. So I got punished by taking what was supposed to be an hour and 15-minute trip to Key Largo, turned out to be 2 hours and 1/2 one way, and 3 hours coming back. Anyway, so to make up for this, we'll have connections all April for the next 3 weeks in a row in April. And that's probably a good thing, because given what's going on right now, I'm sure people have a lot of things they want to share and emote and things like that. So we will have 3 connections in a row. Okay, everybody? 3 in a row. Please make a note of that. 3 in a row. Okay, so we've got Felix here, Anaki's here, Pam Gray is here. All right, want to remind everybody, next week, Pack and Care just joined us. Next week at 10:30, we have a special meeting to vote on calling Tracy Barrett, Dr. Barrett, to be our new senior associate. I remind you that this was really funny. I had an interview with her, and I had 5 things on my list to talk to her about. And she had 5 things to talk to me about, and they were the same 5 things on both lists. It was a riot, same 5 things. So special meeting next Sunday at 10:30. Easter, we're having a very quiet outdoor service at 9:30 at LARRRY'S. For those of you who remember going to the garden out there and just having a very quiet, informal service. Then at 11 o'clock, we're having a service here where the text is taken from the book of Deuteronomy, and it is a rather rambunctious share for what it is worth. If you're looking for something quiet, it'll be rather noisy and loud. All right. Next thing, pictures. I don't know if you saw the pictures in the weekly today, this week, but you had Rick and Judy and others that were out protesting and resisting. I don't know if any of you remember the Makayas. Remember we used to meet at JCC. We had Milani, who was the youngest, very little Milani. Then when the oldest boy was not Jason. Come on. Oh, come on. Begins with a J. Yes, it was Jason. All right. And then we had the middle one, who was Marcelli. Milani, Marcelli, and Jason. All right, there we go. They're all grown up now. Jason is now with his boyfriend in Las Vegas and has been there for 2 years. Marcelli has met a guy who works at Publix with her, and they're going out. And Milani, if you saw that picture of her, she's a senior in high school, to the high school prom, and she is a grown-up, absolutely a stunning woman with a picture with her girlfriend, and the girlfriend is stunning too. These two look like they belong on Vogue. And I said to Belkis, what happened? She says, what happened? I'm the mother. What do you mean? She says, they're like all grown up. So we had resistors, we had Milani, and then we had a birthday picture of Tiger the cat, who was 4 years old. We saw some art by Pam. So please do send in some pictures. If you're doing something interesting, send them in. We want to post them up. I've got a whole batch of pictures from our girl out in London. Her daughter's very active in London now, the London thing. And you all remember Angie? She sent a whole batch of pictures in. So you'll be seeing those next time too. So remember to send in pictures, whatever you're doing. Okay, the memorial candle. I don't know where to begin. So let me try to make sense of all of this. Number one, you want to light, if you would be so kind, and remember a candle for all of the innocents that got locked up. People were here perfectly legally and got locked up. It is, to me, unbelievable in this day and age in the United States. Number two, innocents who were deported because they disagreed and spoke their mind. You are allowed to have an opinion in the United States, evidently not with some people because you'll get locked up. Tattoos. My heart transplant was stopped for 10 minutes because I have a tattoo. And Mark Staples, the surgeon, was so shocked. I thought it was so funny. He said, "Hey, Rev, do you mind if I show everybody this tattoo of Opus the penguin?" And do you remember Opus from Bloom County? Yes. So that means I can get deported and sent to jail too. The tattoo artist that did a bunch of these said, tattoos do not mean you're a member of a gang. So remember those who are deported. All right. With the tariffs, I don't know if you're aware of this, a major number of our chemicals for our medicine comes from abroad. There will be shortages of medicine, the doctors have warned, and so have pharmacists. So we want to think of all those people who are getting medicine who may be in for some anxious times. Light your candle for those who live on Heard and McDonald's Island. Now, if you've never heard of Heard and McDonald Island, these islands are 2,485 miles southwest of Australia. They have been hit with massive tariffs. They are in the middle, literally, of nowhere on the planet, occupied by penguins and seals. Yes, you heard that. Remember your penguins and seals as they got hit with massive tariffs. We want to offer a candle of gratitude for those who showed up to express their feelings yesterday around the country. And want to remember all of those in poor countries who got hit with tariffs and those who got aid taken from them just like that when they were looking for medicine and help. So we want to remember all of these people, all of them. And that list is only a beginning. We offer our prayers, our hope, our amen to what you're doing. May it be so.
Is not this the fast that I chose? To lose the bonds of injustice, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? And when you see the naked, to cover them and to not hide yourself from your own kin? Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly.
And for those of you who would read with me, in the green, if you would, do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person. A life not lived for others is not a life. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Now, Bobby Vance did not know he was going to be reading this morning. So, Bobby, where are you? Are you ready?
Always.
All right, if you would read a retold parable of the Good Samaritan.
Okay. A person was traveling from Miami to Daytona Beach, and on the way, he had car troubles. People approached that he thought might help, but instead, they robbed and beat him severely. A mayor drove by, looked at him, and kept going. A short time later, a congressperson drove by and turned up his nose and kept on going. Finally, a very impressive man in a bulletproof limo with security guards sped by without even looking. Then an immigrant came upon this troubled person and stopped. He picked him up and took him to his house, dressed his wounds, and he and his family cared for him till he was better and sent him on his way. This ends the lesson.
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up. Do you remember that ad? For someone who was selling a medical alert device so that if you fell or you were in trouble, you could push a button and get help. In this day and time, I don't think there are enough buttons or a big enough and powerful enough button that we can get to push to help us all. Help! Help! 4 letters. A professor I had in college said it's an impact word, but more than that, it is a call to action word. If you hear the word help, you come running. You don't run away, you help. It's story time. Gather around, children. There are 3 stories from Uncle Larry this morning on help. When I was a college student, I decided I wanted to buy my first new car. And I bought a car, I ordered it. It was a Chevrolet Corvair Monza Spider convertible. It was black with red leatherette interior. It was beautiful. And I waited for it to come in, and finally the dealer called me, and I drove my old 1953 Chevy home to pick up my new car. I drove it back to college, parked it in the dorm and parking lot outside, and people came out and looked at it. Everyone thought it was a gorgeous car. First thing I did with it was I took a date to Wheeling to the movies. On the way back from the movies, the right side carburetor on my beautiful little car fell off and the engine caught on fire. I had less than 100 miles on it. Waited for AAA and that stuff, and finally got someone from school to come and pick us up. And by the time I got my date back to school, it was past her curfew. And so for the next 2 weekends, she was campus. She couldn't go anywhere or do anything. Needless to say, she didn't go out with me ever again. I got my little car fixed and I thought it was doing great. I had a job that earned me some spending money. I was the student minister at a little church in Morristown, Ohio, across the river. And I would go on Sundays and I would speak. And it came Thanksgiving time. And the 3 little churches in that community had a union Thanksgiving service. And they picked the new kid to give the lesson that night. And so I went on Thanksgiving Eve and gathered in that church with the 3 congregations of people. And I preached a sermon. And like a lot of ministers at Thanksgiving time, I used the story of the 10 lepers. 10 were healed. 1 came back to say thanks. And of course, very dramatically, I kept saying, "Where are the 9? Where are the 9? The service ended, and I had a chance to go home for the one holiday all year basketball players got off and could go. If you live close enough, you could go home and be with your family on Thanksgiving. I could have gone and taken the main roads, but it was a lot shorter and quicker if I went through the country roads. And I started out from that little church and I started driving back through these country roads, and it began to snow. And then it began to snow more and more and more. And the roads got slippery. And somewhere in the middle of nowhere farm country, my little car quit on me again. And I kept trying to get it started and it wouldn't start. And I'm getting out of the car and I think I've got to walk to the next town, which is a couple miles away in the snow and not really dressed to do it. But as I started to walk, I saw this pair of headlights coming down a country lane toward me. And I knew from growing up around farms and everything that it wasn't a car headlight, it was a tractor. And it kept getting closer and closer. And finally, a man on the tractor pulled up right beside me and he said, "You need help, young man." I told him my dilemma. He said, "Well, climb on the tractor. We'll see if we can help." And I got on the tractor and he drove me up to his house. I went inside and got warm. And I called and I didn't know what to do. And he said, "I have an idea." He said, "I'll call my brother-in-law." He said, "He owns a garage in town and see what he can do." And he called and he was talking. And pretty soon he came up. He said, "My brother-in-law is going to get your car and take it to the garage." In the meantime, the farmer's wife said, "You look like you're hungry. Sit down here and I'll feed you." And she fed me. A little while later, the phone rang again. And the man said, "My brother-in-law says he can't fix it till morning. He needs a part, but he thinks he can get you out of here and on your way home pretty quickly. So why don't you just stay here tonight?" So I laid down on their couch and I went to sleep. Got up the next morning and they fed me breakfast. I did not know these people at all. And after breakfast, he loaded me in his car, took me to his brother-in-law's garage. And when I got there, he said, "I got your car fixed temporarily. I think it'll get you home. I'd take it to the dealer and see what they can do." I said, knowing I had no money, "I'll pay you on my way back to school." And he said, "Oh, it doesn't cost you anything." He said, "I'm glad I could just help." Took the car home, left it at the dealership, ate with my family. My dad called the dealer and he met me down there after we ate and gave me a loaner car and I drove back to school. Help. It comes in a lot of different forms from a lot of different people. Second story. My late father-in-law, Art Kibler, was a contractor. And he worked hard and he did a lot of jobs and he built houses and barns and everything and fixed roofs and did so much work in the community. And there were in the town that they lived in some widowed women that were not in very good shape financially. And they needed stuff done on their houses just like anyone else would. And Art would go and he would work on their houses and fix them, but he would only go on Sunday. And when it was time to settle up, the women would ask him, say, "What do I owe you for doing this?" He said, "Oh, I can't take any money on Sunday for doing stuff." He worked in churches in the area and he worked on time and material, but he never took a dime from the church because it was God's word. We didn't find out about any of this stuff until after his memorial service. And people sent cards and people told us all of the things that he did to help people. Never took anything for it. Third story. There was an inner city school that was in trouble. They could not pass the standardized state tests. And there was talk of them closing the school. As a matter of fact, one lady on the State Board of Education actually said, true story, true statement, "Why are we even bothered? Let's just close the school. The only people who go to that school are the dregs of society." Dregs. They got a new principal in that school, and that principal had a new theory and a new idea about how to help those young people in that school. He said, we've got to learn to lean on one another. And so if you're good in math, help someone who's not good in math. If you're a teacher and you know someone's in trouble, help them privately and find someone who can help them and help each other. If you're good in math, maybe you're not good in history, but someone is. And if we lean on one another, we could do this. And the song you're going to hear at the end of this service is the song Lean on Me. My freshman year at school, I was there 2 weeks before school started for pre-season basketball practice, which consisted of running and then running more and running more. And one day after practice, the sophomore manager, who was to become a great friend of mine, he came up to me and said, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, probably sleeping. And he said, you have $20. I said, sure. He said, we're going to the March on Washington and there's an empty seat. If you've got $20, you get a bus ride to Washington, D.C. for the march. And you get a box lunch. Let's go. Without thinking or anything else, I got on the bus and we went to D.C. And by the time we got there, the crowds were so thick, we couldn't get anywhere near the Lincoln Memorial or even the reflecting pond. We ended all the way back by the Washington Monument on the grassy area. And we kind of plopped down and I tried my best to stay awake and listen to what was going on. We happened to sit down. I was right beside two African-American sisters. We're sitting there and we're listening to the songs and the speeches and everything else. And one of the sisters said, you look like you're hungry, young man. And I said, well, a little bit. And she said, well, have some of our lunch. And she fed me and we laughed and talked and got to know one another a little bit. Dr. King came on and gave that famous speech we all know. And when he was done, everybody there in that massive crowd stood up and they started singing, we shall overcome. And as tired as I was, I stood up. And I was standing there and I was about to fall down. I was that tired. And one of the sisters said, young man, she said, just lean on me. And she took my arm and put it around her neck. And the other sister, without saying anything, picked up my other arm. And there I was, a 19-year-old white kid, leaning on two African-American sisters. When you listen to the song at the end of the service, ask yourself just one question. Who has helped me in my lifetime? That call to action word, help. More importantly, when someone needed your help, did you come running? What was it the Beatles say? Help. I need somebody help, not just anybody help. Help. Boy, do we need help now. Amen.
Well, that was at the end, but we missed a whole chunk of the service. So we're going to hear it again. We'll hear it one more time. We're going into the agape now. And I want to read to you again from Isaiah, which Anaki read to us this morning. This is really what the meal was all about. By the time that Jesus shared bread, he was taking something that had been taken into Jewish tradition for a very, very long time, even buried in the book of Leviticus and Deuteronomy 500 years before Jesus was born. Is not this the fast that I chose to loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry? And the idea was that you took bread, very simple bread, and Leviticus makes it very clear, you welcome the stranger, you welcome them and make them feel good. Deuteronomy says, remember you too were a stranger in a foreign land. Do not treat others as you were treated. Ancient texts. And so we take the bread and the cup as a symbol that all are welcome. All are welcome. It makes no difference whether you have money or not. It makes no difference whether you have hair or no hair, curly hair, straight hair. Doesn't make any difference what texture your skin is. You are you. Remember Jesse Jackson's I Am Somebody. And so we welcome then. This is a help. You lean on me, I lean on you. And for some, you find a path that grounds you with a higher power. And for others, you find poetry or music or all. This is what it is about: kindness and goodness and welcoming all. And when we do this, we turn to that famous theologian that we often quote at times like this, Winnie the Pooh. And I'll ask Donald to pull up those famous words that we read together. If we would read them together, promise me you'll remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think. God didn't promise days without pain, laughter without sorrows, sun without rain. And continuing, if we read together, but the divine did promise strength for the day, comfort for the tears, and light for the way. And reading a prayer from June Jordan, if anybody wishes to read it with me. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. And one more time, lean on me. And now may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back, and may the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall softly upon your fields, and when we meet again, may the divine in me greet and embrace the divine in you. May it be so. Amen. And bless you all. Before you leave, let me say goodbye to all of you. Donald, thank you for being with us. Donald took this massive test. I don't know how you were able to be here today. Thank you for being here. Larry, you are an inspiration and a love and a blessing. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Rick and Judy, Anaki just got out of the hospital too. We're thankful for reading. Nikki is here this morning. Gail and Tom. Pam is here from New York. Bobby Vance is here, who reads on the spur of the moment. You know, I can't believe you just read like you practiced that for 5 hours. You just picked it right up. Felix Becerra, I hope you're feeling better. We're thinking of you. We're thinking of Pride today, big march on the beach. We've got Chris Diaz from North Miami. Selva is from down near US 1 on Kendall Drive. Barbara Young is with us. Pat Sullivan is here. Maureen Sullivan, Chris and John Sloan. And Pat Kincaid is with us as well. Good morning to you all. Good morning. May you have a blessed day. Remember, next week we have a special meeting at 10:30 to vote to call on Dr. Barrett. Palm Sunday service. We've got a 9:30 quiet service on Easter, and then a rousing oomph at 11 o'clock here.
Hey, Ken,
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you something I forgot to say is that shiny new car that I bought was the one consumer Ralph Nader made his bones on, and is generally considered to be the worst car ever made in America.
Corvair.
We need to have a little humor for the day too.
Yes, 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 yes. Blessings all. Blessings all. Be safe and well. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good work, everyone.